Hello YouTube, this is Bash bringing you here for a week 4 matchup against BM in a baton mash of the Leone pool, who we are both 2-1 coming into this week. And his team consists of Mew, Toxapex, Tangros, Keldeo, Hippowdon, Mega Aerodactyl, Slurpuff, Blaziken, Zoroark, and Metagross, with Z captains being Keldeo and Zoroark. And my team looks a little different, as you'll see in a second, as we have Megalodion, Suicune, Sylveon, Alolan Muck, Donphan, Conkeldurr, Scizor, Jolteon, Darmanitan, Regirock, Scyther, and Trapinch, with Z captains being Donphan and Darmanitan. I would also like to say that he actually made a transaction before our match too. He ended up dropping Dugtrio over for Hippowdon, which actually I do think Dugtrio would have been a lot worse for me to deal with, but so it kind of worked out for me. But I'll go over what the transactions were for me, I guess, in this video as well. So, because it's pretty much the first video coming out since I made those transactions, I guess. So, we ended up dropping Blacephalon and Volibee, and definitely, if I'll talk about like some of the transactions, and definitely check out the latest match though, week 3 against EN. Before I say some of the spoilers from that match, I guess, even though you saw the record already. So, spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, so I ended up, Blacephalon did actually put in a lot of work against Ian last week, and it was able to break his entire team. But the problem with Blacephalon, I think, with my team, is that Megalodius and Blacephalon are both weak to the same things. It can't really beat the same things, I guess, per se. It has a very difficult, both have a very difficult time against dark types, and I felt like Blacephalon, well, I felt like a lot of what Blacephalon would to my team with caused a lot of the things that Megalodius didn't want like to come as well. So like things like, I thought Mega T-Tar would come in one match, stuff like that. I rather just prefer not to deal with that kind of shenanigans. Also, I think Darm is an excellent breaker. We didn't have too many breakers on our team. I think Darm provides a really good breaker. And in doing this, I was able to grab I was able to drop Volibee for Scyther / Trapinch, I guess, per se. So Scyther provides me a flying type and a resist to Zygarde, like kind of thing, or like ground, or like Zygarde 10% kind of thing, or Zygarde 50, or as well as giving me like pretty offensive and good speed tier on my team. I did lose that in the base 107 from Blacephalon speed, so I wanted to grab something like around that area, which is Scyther's base 105, Darmanitan's base 95. So I think that helps out with the speed tiering as well. As my team has been generally pretty slow, except for a couple mons. Scyther gives me good priority. It gives me very scary setup opportunity as well, and it gives me momentum, which I think my team benefits a lot more, because now I got 2 more mons that gets momentum, and I felt like Volibee, I don't think I was really gonna need to bring it to a lot of matches. So, and then my last mon. A 1-point Trapinch here, and there's a lot of explanation for that, because the reason I grabbed Trapinch is because for a 1-point mod, it forces prep, honestly, because of the fact that it has Arena Trap and still hits super hard with, like, it has the same attack stat as a Flygon. Like, this thing hits really hard, and although it's very slow, and it's technically an LC mod, I think it really could help out the team a little bit, and it forces for a 1-point mon, it forces prep for it. Like, it forces my opponents to prep for it, and if I could get value out of a 1-point mon for forcing my opponent to prep for a mon like that, that really, I think, really benefits the team, as well as the fact that I can bring it and actually put in a lot of work. As like, if I made Trapinch Z move right now, it could take out a Toxapex pretty much from full if it's especially defensive. I could trap it in and kill it with a Groundium Z, and I still could take a Scald pretty nicely. So like, that kind of thing is very puts a lot of thought into my opponent's mind, even though I'm not a Z user, but it puts a lot of thought into my opponent's mind of what I could do with Trapinch to try to break some of my opponent's team in order to allow my other mons to actually win the games. So, well, not really break, but like take out some of his more thicker, I guess, or like trap some of his mons that could be an issue for my team. So, but I'll go now. We're going into his team. So like his team is very, 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 very bulky. He's got sticky webs, pretty much insane bulk in Mew, Toxapex, Tangrowth, Hippowdon, Metagross to an extent, and Keldeo to an extent too as well. And then he's got some fast mons and breakers like Mega Aerodactyl, Blaziken's a really good breaker, and Zoroark. I guess Keldeo could be a mix as a breaker as well. Keldeo and Zoroark is a fast kind of like breaker thing. So like, it's very interesting to see how his team kind of works out. It's very interesting, his speed tiers, I would say, as well. Pretty gaps, I guess, from his speed tiers. And he only has 10 mons, so that's something also to note, because that makes things prepping a lot easier for me, because that means well, per se, I guess, because then I don't have to prep for as many different mons, but the mons typically are better per se, I guess. So things I do expect though, the Zoroark I do expect to come. I think it's his Scarf Zoroark is very likely against my team. It can hit my team pretty hard. As well, I do expect Tangrowth and Hippowdon as well. They both are pretty decent brings. Tangrowth to help out with Suicune, because I feel like Suicune's a huge problem for him if he doesn't have Tangrowth. I also think that the Hippowdon is going to come. Pretty good rocker. It can help shut down Regirock, Scyther. Depending on his Hippowdon set, he can shut down Scyther. It can shut down Jolteon. So that's something good to know for him as well. And it can check a little muck for the most part too as well. So that's something I do expect. I do expect the Tangrowth, the Hippowdon, the Zoroark. I do in fact expect the Mega Aerodactyl as well. That helps check a couple of things. And it outspeeds pretty much my entire team unless I bring Scarfers or something like that. So that's a fourth mon right there. I do expect the Mew. I do expect Mew or Metagross as one of the mons. I'm not sure if both will come. It's really going to depend on his sets, I guess, and what he really wants to check. But I do expect Mew or Metagross to come. I think more Mew will come, but I think either one will come. It might help with Megalodios as well, as Megalodios is a huge issue for him. He might lead more towards Metagross because he gets the he gets the resist of both dual stabs from Megalodios, but Metagross can't really do too much back unless it starts boosting up, I guess, or it's like a bandit kind of thing. I guess if I'm like a defensive Megalodios, and if I'm offensive, I could just switch out and get pretty much momentum into things like Donphan, stuff like Suicune. But Mew provides ability to stop and phasing as well, because I believe Mew does get Roar, I think, and it can also comment up against the Megalodios as well and make it a huge issue for me to deal with that. Don't really expect Slurpuff unless he's Sticky Webs. That's the only reason he would bring it, because I have a Scizor sitting right there that pretty much annihilates it. So that's something to note. I do not really in Blaziken's possibility, but I feel like it's shut down by Suicune and Megalodios pretty well, and Donphan, I guess, to an extent. Keldeo's a maybe. It's shut down. It's shut down by Sylveon and Suicune pretty well, per se, I guess. Like those two mons combined can deal with Keldeo very, very, very well. And even a little muck percent could still check it pretty well. As long as he's not like a calm mindset, a little muck could deal with that too. So that's something also to note. So that then there's Toxapex, which could come. It checks a couple things, but then it also allows me pretty much free switching to Megalodios, Suicune to rest back up with kind of thing. Jolteon as well. Jolteon gets a free pretty much switch into that kind of thing. Conk could get into there and get pretty much a free switch in because the fact that I could get Guts boosted. Um, those kind of things really help really deal with it. And Toxapex can't really do too much to Scizor other than burn it. So that's really something also to note. Although it does do well against a decent amount of team, and don't get me wrong, it could help. It could help against the Lone Muck. Although it cannot. I don't think it can stall out a Lone Muck. Maybe I don't know. It could help take hits from the Scizor. It helps take hits very well from Darmanitan because if he doesn't bring that, he has a very difficult time switching into Darmanitan. It could deal with the Regirock. It could help with the Scyther. Although Trapinch is able to trap it in, so that's something also to know. But let's get into the team I'm bringing for this week. We are bringing off Suicune, straight up Suicune, Rest, Sleep Talk, Roar Scald. This thing literally he has so much difficulty breaking, honestly. I don't know how he's going to be able to deal with this. I'm running Roar over. I was going to bring Toxic, but I decided to go with Roar, and the reason is because Keldeo could be a sub, like a Calm Mind set, or a subset, which could be very annoying. And roaring things out like Tangrowth that are coming in isn't the worst thing in the world. Even though it gets Regenerator, forcing other mons to take rocks, not rocks damage, but switch around could be really nice. And me getting off another Scald could be really nice as well. And also to note that Sleep Talk, I can possibly outspeed some of his slower threats and click Sleep Talk and get Roar before they can move it, take an attack. They can attack like Tangrowth. Tangrowth will not outspeed me unless he goes like very speedy Tangrowth. And Tangrowth, if I get a Sleep Talk Roar, I could get off a Roar before the Tangrowth can even attack me. So that's something also very interesting to note. This thing walls pretty much most of his team. He does not have an electric type, so that's something to note on his team. He's lacking a very key. So he's going to be bringing Tangrowth. I'm guaranteeing he's bringing Tangrowth for this match because this is pretty much his only way to hit Suicune hard enough to actually break it. Other than I guess Belly Jump Slurp Up, but this is why I also have Roar for that, because Roar could if he wants to set up a Belly Drum against me, he won't be able to. I can just roar that out. So that's that. Then we got Tony Starks here, the Scizor here with Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Defog, Roost. I have Defog here just in case he brings Toxapex with T-Spikes, and also Stealth Rocks could be annoying for some of my mods later on. But Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Defog, Roost, pretty generic set with the Aqua Berry. Aqua Berry let me pretty much this thing can take a hit from everything on his team unless it's boosted, I guess, and especially with the fact that he can have a Zoroark, it could be very difficult to figure out which mon that is, as I'm really expecting that to come. So having that Aqua Berry allows me to figure out if he decides to be a Tangrowth and he's actually a Zoroark, I could be able to U-turn out on the Flamethrower, take the Flamethrower, and kill the Zoroark, which is very very nice for me because that means Megalotus is really a lot better. This also allows me to deal with Mew unless it's like a Will-O-Wisp set could be annoying from it, but that's something I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Metagross, it can help with Metagross. If it has Fire, the Aqua Berry helps if it has Fire Punch, and it also helps with against Tangrowth if he has HP Fire. So this thing is very good. I think this match. The Roost, of course, is for sorry for the yawn, but the Roost is also for the longevity for this match because I think the Roost is going to be very helpful against things like Tangrowth, Toxapex, because this if I'm pretty sure if I can get the Roost, if I have Roost, this thing will be able to wall Toxapex. So that's something very good to note. Yeah, so that's my Scizor set. Then we got a Alolan Muck here. We have a Alolan Muck, and the reason is because I did not want to deal with Mew. I wanted something, I guess, to help with the Zoroark as well. Both those two, this could help with. This could also help with the Tangrowth as well, and to an extent Keldeo, depending on his set, I guess. So we got Knockoff, Poison Jab, Ice Punch, Recycle. I can't really touch Keldeo, but I can wear it down, and Keldeo can't do too much to me unless he's Calm Mind. So that's something to know. Unless maybe he's Taunt, per se. But this thing, Ice Punch, I have Ice Punch for the Hippowdon, which is a very likely switch into this. Because I would expect him to switch into Hippowdon pretty much every time on that. I can knock off the Hippowdon's leftovers and Ice Punch it. If I really need to. Ice Punch also hits the Mega Aerodactyl, which could be very interesting to know because knockoff is not going to do that much to Mega Aerodactyl because it's not holding an item. It's holding a Mega Stone, and Poison Jab I believe is resisted. So that is why Ice Punch is a lot better for that. There's not really any other reason why I read that. And knockoff and Poison Jab hits the rest of his team pretty well, I guess. Toxapex can kind of all this, but Toxapex can't do much to me. The best they can do is just burn me. I can just recycle off all this, so that's something good to note. Now we have one of our win condition kind of. We got Recover, Calm Mind, Psychic, and Dragon Pulse. Now, I was debating for a while between Dragon Pulse and Shadow Ball. I decided to go with Dragon Pulse. Because of the fact that Zoroark could be, I'm really expecting Zoroark to come over Metagross kind of thing, because Zoroark is a very huge problem for my team. I would think so. Dragon Pulse over Zoroark. Shadow Ball doesn't hit it hard enough with it. If I did, if Zoroark doesn't come, I'm gonna be really upset that I didn't bring Shadow Ball for like the Mew / Metagross. But I think I think it's smarter to just bring Dragon Pulse, or maybe a different coverage move would have been nice. But I think this works out pretty well for the most part. And this is my win con. This can take on a lot of his threats. He has a very difficult time breaking this with the defense he has. With the defense I put into this, I believe this takes this speed is out to outspeed. I believe Blaziken, max speed Blaziken, 48 speed, and then this defense investment allows me to deal with Zoroark if it's knockoff. I think Sucker Punch kind of thing, Sucker Punch shenanigans. So then we got our start of our Volturn core, as we have a more of a Volturn core to help weaken this team down. We got Jolteon with Quick Feet, with Flame Orb, with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HPS, Toxic. So he doesn't have an electric type, which is why I'm running Quick Feet, and he has a Mega Aerodactyl, which is why I'm running Flame Orb. There's a chance I don't even need the Flame Orb. It's just there just in case I cannot get off the burn or get this thing status from like Toxapex or Keldeo. So that's why I have it on this, or like from you. So Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HPI is Toxic. Toxic is there for the Hippowdon, which is a very likely switch in. I really expect Hippowdon should hard wall this pretty well, so that's why I'm clicking Toxic. Pretty much the first time I bring this in, I'm clicking Toxic because I know that Hippowdon's coming in. And then after that I can figure things out. But that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. HP Ice is to hit Tangrowth and Hippowdon, but most times they're not. I'm Volt Switching on the Tangrowth. And Thunderbolt, just to make sure I can take out the Mega Aerodactyl and hit as hard as possible with the Thunderbolt. So that's that. This speed is to outspeed Scarf Keldeo after the Flame Orb boost. So that that's something good to know. Outspeeds his entire rest of the team anyway, other than Mega Aerodactyl without the boost anyway though. So that's something to know, unless there's a Scarf on his team. So, and then we got Choice Scarf the Natan. I said that if he doesn't bring Toxapex, he does not have a switch in, and that is very he has a very difficult time switching into this. U-turn, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Zen Headbutt. I'm running Zen Headbutt over Earthquake because of the fact that it hits both Toxapex and Keldeo, and it can hit the Blaziken as well. So that's something good to know. Rock Slide pretty much can take out the Mega Aerodactyl, unless depending on his bulk or his investment, I guess. Flare Blitz just annihilates his team. Mega Aerodactyl gets 2-shot by Flare Blitz, by the way, just so you know. Flare Blitz just runs through his entire team, breaks so much, and it's so good for this matchup. per se, and then U-turn for momentum. As I said, I have three momentum mons here for this week. I'm really going to try to chip down his team with these momentum mons and try to get Amadeus in and sweep that way. That's the game plan for this match. So hopefully this works out. U-turn volt switch here, and this U-turn more bulky offensive U-turn, I guess. So hopefully this works out. This is why I have Defog and a Scizor, because I do not want to deal with Stealth Rocks or T-Spikes this match. So being able to defog these away, for the game plan at least for this match, being able to defog those Stealth Rocks away could be really key for the matchup. That's it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely check out the match will be going up tomorrow. Should be very exciting. His team's very interesting and that. So hopefully we can pull out a dub and move on to 3-1. That would put us very well, looking very good for a playoffs kind of thing scenario. So even this early in the season looks very good for us if we're 3-1. So I guess nothing further to say. Until next time, Bash out.